Top of the day to everybody out there. Hello, welcome to Product as a Star. I am your host, Will Cunningham, and on this show, we talk to folks interested in getting the word out about a product, good, service, message, or a call to action. Today's discussion will feature a conversation with music group PIERA. Welcome to the show, PIERA. Am I saying that right?
It's actually PIERA, but thank you.
Is it PIERA? Okay,
Yes.
okay, cool. PIERA.
Thank you for having us, Will. We're happy to be here.
Yes.
Awesome. So before, or should I say, as we get started, both of you, if you could tell me just a little bit about your background. Whoever wants to go first, fine.
Sure. I'm a California native, singer-songwriter, sort of with a little bit of a globe-trotting history, and I'm a songwriter, singer, producer of co-collaborator of PIERA, the music duo we are in together. And I also am very involved in women's activism and nonprofit work.
Wow. Okay. Micah?
Yes, I started out as a recording artist, and as time went on, I moved into the production phase of production. Being a producer and different aspects of services. Providing for artists. One is prepping people for tours. Vocal singers, and working a lot with singers and developing singers.
I always say Micah's an industry veteran. He's been in the business a long time.
Yes.
Behind the scenes and on the scene, I guess, on stage, and yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Fascinating. So do you guys have any passions or hobbies away from music that you feel may contribute to your sound, be it fashion, architecture, astrology, any of these things?
All of the above. Yeah, I think
that was a
I
good three.
definitely, spirituality, I think, permeates the music and the sound that we've created, and we are we're strong believers in an invisible world, and we try to infuse that into the music. Also, fashion, architecture, I love both. One of my greatest inspirations architecturally is actually a woman who passed in the last year, Zaha Hadid, and she was very futuristic, neo-futuristic. Wow. She was like science fiction meets art.
What was her name again?
Zaha Hadid.
Zaha Hadid. Okay, rest in peace.
From the Middle East, and groundbreaking architecture, very Star Wars-like.
Amazing.
And
I'm gonna check that out.
Absolutely incredible. And I've always been inspired by art, modern art, Bauhaus, any of those, German influences, but also just, American art as well. So I think when you're an artist, you get inspired by people who are in other mediums, who are creative and inspired in their own way, and we kind of learn and grow from each other.
Right, Mike. What about you, Micah? Thank you for that. I appreciate that, because I learned about Zaha Hadid. God bless. I'm going to learn about that because futuristic. Now you got my nerd engine going. So I got futuristic. I love everybody's individual interpretation about what the future is. So I'm definitely going to check that out. What about you, Micah?
I feel I get a lot of inspiration from nature and being outdoors. And just looking at the sky and the cosmos and the ocean. We live in Los Angeles. I'm always at the beach. That really inspires me. And art. I'm very particular, but when I know someone has really gone to their existential limit, and really pushed past it, I can feel it. And those are the kinds of things that inspire me, I think, the most, and because I'm so involved in the technology of the music, there's so much going on right now with new technology, and there's a lot to learn, and there's a lot growing and adapting. And so that's.
I didn't mean to interrupt you. It sounds to me though, Michael, that you like to get away, get to the beach, cleanse, and then stargaze a little bit, sky gaze a little bit, sort of like a Q-tip to cleanse out the mind, almost to refresh. It sounds like, and that can be very, rejuvenating. I like to go to the beach myself. I'm also in Los Angeles. I like like to get away, spend a lot of time Venice Beach. I like to go to the beach and actually bury my feet in the sand and get that type of gravitational pull. So I definitely can relate to you on that, Micah.
Yeah.
This is really cool stuff, man. So I'm curious about how you guys met and came together as a group.
Yeah, actually, it was really fun. A friend introduced us. I was very interested and had just started producing my own music and, looking for that next, point of inspiration. And a friend had just met Micah and said, "Oh my gosh, I met the most interesting, inspiring person. You guys should connect." And she introduced us a week later. And it was really interesting just because, like, from the moment we met, I felt like we had so much in common. And then musically, very different, but very complementary. So I think what's unique about our collaboration is a lot of times you get people who are kind of into exactly the same things working together. We came from totally different worlds musically. I think I came from a more like electronic, I always say space jazz, but kind of just more of like, Roy Scott, or, I don't know if you know 07 or some of those bands.
No, but I'm going to be checking them out now because I'm a music nerd and I'm always finding out.
Electronic, kind of like
air,
spacey, chill jazz, and then, mixed with alternative rock. And then Micah was from, well, you can speak for yourself, but, just a different background.
Yeah, I was more coming from, early jungle music, and then early DMB, early, like, Groove Rider, we were talking about Kruder and Dorfmeister, and that's what got me. Well, first I was, I was in punk bands, forever. And then, then I got into hip hop, once that dropped and I was blown away, I thought, okay, well, I'm going to switch over here a little bit for a while as a producer. And then I started, through friends, who were turning me on to like, trip hop and acid, acid music and stuff like that. And I was like, wow, this is amazing. So I had to get into it, and then that sort of evolved. And so by the time me and PIERA met, I was very more aggressive, kind of into that kind of aggressive DMB, not quite the metal sounding DMB, but more like I say, the old school kind of stuff. And
or like bass heavy body music.
Yeah, bass
and
and
with a little bit of almost like even a little bit twinge of R&B in there too. Sometimes.
Yeah, there's because I was working in R&B a lot, and so I'm trying to I'm laying
like funky.
I'm laying back that snare as much as I can in that kind of music, So and also really excited about like sound design. And I started getting into modular synthesizers and what can happen with sound, and and that's and then she had a very direct songwriting sort of theme of more coming from that trip hop space jazz kind of sound, and I said, well, let's make that really exciting, and then we came up with something that has nothing to do with either.
Yeah, that's the fun part.
I came up, I've been writing music since I was like 12 years old on my dad's acoustic guitar that he gave me, and piano, and like anything I could get my hands on. And so my musical background was actually really organic and, acoustic instruments. And then I got more excited about, alternative rock. And then once I heard electronic music, I was like, these worlds all need to blend together. So
we blend a lot of worlds, man.
I think that our unique alchemy is in the fact that we take so many different elements from different eras, just things that we love, and put them together in ways that people generally wouldn't connect those elements, but we found a way to do it in a fun, harmonious way. I think it's
we're really trying to do something that was really from the heart, and not trying to nail a genre and kind of like and then move in that kind of direction, booking wise and all that, and be part of that any bandwagon. We really wanted to create a new sound.
See, that's fascinating because you have chemistry within the experience of having radical differences too. So you get a culture clash, and then you get to these odd pairings sort of go together really well, and you end up with great music in the result. One thing that easily comes to mind is Aerosmith and Run DMC. I mean, you know, here they are. You know, that video explains it. I mean, if you remember that video, you know, everyone should go watch the Aerosmith Run DMC video, just if you haven't seen it, or if you have, just to show you the duality of how these two genres came together. So what you guys are doing, throwing out, you know, experimenting with the idea of genreless music is really cool. I mean, we don't need, it's like, you know, music without borders. You know what I mean? And, and you speaking, Micah, on sound design, it just brings up audio landscapes in my head for some reason. And I like the way, I like you guys' words. I like you guys' framing. I like everything about what we're talking about. I do have a quick question on the artistic side. Have you guys ever been working on a song, you know, and then after it's done, you go, I don't know about that one, and then it somehow work out to be great, like people love it?
That we actually put out. Yeah, I've been surprised. Yeah. I mean, what?
I'm sorry. Go ahead. I didn't mean to cut you off.
I'm not, you know, not shockingly surprised, but I saw some songs go more popular than I thought they would be. And I saw some songs that I thought would be more popular than they were. You know, I mean, I think everybody goes through that, you know. You
Can I speak to that?
Sure.
I think it's interesting because, you know, this is our first album together, and it's a collaboration. And so there were some songs that were really birthed from Micah's imagination, and then he brought me into it to co-write or co-produce. And then there were some songs that were birthed from my imagination, and then there's some things that really came more in like a 50-50 pairing. But there's all three variations on this record. And so our instincts are kind of, because we have slightly different instincts, we were very curious to see what was going to grab. You know, is it going to be like, you know, that stuff or this stuff or this stuff? And so it's been really interesting for us to see, you know, across the board what has transpired. And I think actually we're seeing that it's in every zone. We've had, you know, a couple songs that are more chill do very well, and a couple really heavy songs do really well. And then Unraveling, I think, is one of our most purest integrated collaborations.
Yeah.
And that ended up being the video and really blowing up and kind of catapulting us into the next stratosphere. So that's been really interesting.
Yeah.
It's so cool because me, myself, as a musician, not a musician, I'm the guy with the words. I like to write songs. And so there's been times I've been in a studio and recording with people, and I'm like, oh, I don't know about that, because, you know, I'm so far out in some of these studio sessions, you know, I'm going in a different direction than I usually would for myself. So I have to step out on that ledge and get a little creative. And in doing so, I'm not as sure as myself on those fringes, right? So that's why I was curious. Am I the only one that has this experience? Or I'm always curious about artists, because there's been times we record the song and I'm like, I don't even know. And then more people pile in the studio and they're like, whoa, okay. And I'm like, oh, they're right. Okay, maybe they're right. Maybe they're onto something. So I thought I'd ask you guys that.
Well, you're kind of I'd like to make a distinction between being like a professional producer and an artist, you know, producer.
Right.
I mean, because when you're a professional producer, you're accommodating, you know, the artist, and you're paid to do that. And so, and you have to, you know, kind of like use, your best judgment as how it's the best turnout is going to happen. You know what I mean? With me and PIERA, since it's just us, there's no A&R guy telling us, you know, give me a love song, or you know, let me teach you about top 10 school or anything like that. Yeah. You know, I mean, we're doing what we want to do. It's pretty much like if somebody doesn't like something, it's gone. You know what I mean?
It's a chemistry experiment.
It's not like there's any confusion about like, oh, how do we work this out? If it's not. I mean, there may be like things like, oh, let me work on it a little bit and see how you think, you know, but usually if it's a bad idea, it gets cut pretty quick. You know what I mean?
Right.
Or one of us feels like it's not right. You know, we don't really quibble about it.
Yeah, that's the only rule we have. If like one of us has strong feelings, like I don't like this, we just don't even keep going.
Because why, you know?
We don't want to torture either person, so we just
you know, there's only so much time. You know?
Yeah.
So I do want to this is, first of all, I'm a fan of this conversation. I feel like, because I'm in a camera, I feel like we're at like a table somewhere just kicking it, which is what I like to do anyway. So I'm curious to how you guys see yourselves as artists.
It's interesting, you know, because as an artist, you're constantly recreating, you know, you're reinventing. I always look at it sort of like you're transmuting or translating emotions, and as we evolve as human beings, those stories inside of us are continuing and changing like chapters. So, you know, I see myself as a free spirit and somebody who's not easily definable. So I think that comes through the music as just being free and original. And I think, you know, for Mike, I think we're pretty daring in the fact that we're free. And a lot of artists out there, because of the structure of music industry, you know, corporate side of it, don't experience as much freedom unless they're running things, you know, which is kind of interesting. So for us, I mean, we definitely are looking for that next step, but we're taking advantage right now of the fact that we can do whatever we want and have fun and see what the response is. And it's been pretty overwhelmingly positive. So I think that is for the human free spirit. And I believe that's what music's supposed to be. It's, you know, just like a celebration of the soul. So, you know,
I'm looking for that ecstatic, ecstatic feeling of like digging for buried treasure. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, I take a blank canvas. I want something. I'm not exactly sure how to define it. You know what I mean? And then I just, like a sculptor, just try to, you know, get it to where I want it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Audio sculpting, I love it. Audio sculptor, you guys are very
good. Totally is.
Yeah, and I just, you know, just rip everything apart till I find that thing that makes me like really stimulated and exciting and happy. You know what I mean? Because I love music. I love music. You know what I mean? I love music. And
I love it too. And I can tell PIERA, you love it. Micah, you love it. Going back to PIERA now. Am I saying that right? I have to get this right.
Yeah, PIERA.
Okay.
That's right.
It's PIERA like Tierra. Okay, I'm going to get this right. How do you guys, PIERA, if you could explain to us, we just heard for how you guys view yourselves, but how do you think the world or your fans are viewing you? How do you think the world is seeing you?
I think people are, well, I mean, the response is really positive. You know, we've been doing a lot of big shows lately. We opened for Berlin and, you know, some
Flock
other.
of Seagulls coming up. I saw that.
We have our Flock of Seagulls show tomorrow at the Canyon.
Wow. Yeah, that's what we're going to get to promoting.
Bow Wow Wow. I mean, there's been a lot of big shows with these sort of 80s iconic groups. And I think the fans are like loving it, even though we're different. We're not, you know, in that hard synth wave category. I think people are really enjoying it. I mean, but how do people see me? That's always a question, you know, just about life. How do people see you? How do they perceive you? And I think there's a difference between like the reflection that we have of ourselves and the way that others see us. But I do know that people know that I've got guts. I mean, I wail on stage. My hair is flying around. I'm in the zone in a way that I don't see a lot of, girls now, you know, I think everyone's kind of, you know, doing their thing, and I'm just like lost in the music. And
you're like, okay, women, I hear you, but I'm going to go crazy.
And I'm not doing it for shock value by any means. It's just, I get lost in the music, and then it's like, oh, the show, you know, it was a show and people enjoyed it. And as long as, you know, we get those cheers, I love it. But I love performing and I love making people happy. So as long as it's working.
So, how do you think people see you, Micah? How do you guys? How is PIERA received as a music duo in your perspective?
Yeah, I think people are kind of I think people are kind of blown away by this sort of ocean of sound that's coming out of the the synth. I mean, I'm working with a lot of synths and modular synths, so there's a lot of sound, and it's very ambient and reverb and liquid, and it's just coming out of them. And all of a sudden, like here comes Pierre, like nailing and nailing and nailing. You know what I mean? So like it's kind of this kind of sort of ambient, atmospheric, but powerful. Kind of, which is strange because usually ambient is kind of like you mellow out, but it's kind of like this powerful ambience, mixed with these contralto kind of powerful vocals and actually pithy lyrics. I mean, we're not like talking about the lyrics are very mystical, kind of, what I'm saying?
They are. There was some lyrics that came to mind off of one of the songs I was listening to. I'm horrible with names, as you can tell. But I think some of the lyrics were about somebody walking away, feeling sad about that departure, and I forget what record that was. But those type of when you structure your lyrics like that, it's an invite for me to project myself into the music. So like I'm like wondering what would have to happen in my life in order for me to have to walk away and understand that there's sadness or what I'm trying to relate without even trying to relate. It's taking me, there's like a pool. So I really did get that, and you guys have a really transcendental essence to your music, where you said it, Micah, it's chill, but at the same time it pulls you to be present, and there is an ocean of sound. There is this potpourri of instruments coming at you, and none of the sounds seem to be like competing. How do you guys pull that off?
Wasn't easy.
That's right. I can't give you the magic. Don't give him the magic tip, Micah. No, that's.
I mean, it is magic. I mean, it was kind of like a discovery process, and then from a mixing point of view, it was just trying to keep things away from each other so they wouldn't bury each other, and it was a process, because I really knew what I wanted, and I wanted to really get it. As opposed to minimalism, I wanted to go like really maximalism, but not have it be cluttered and at the same time. So yeah, it was in that sense, it was a challenge.
It's a dense universe that you created. I mean,
and I'm happy that it worked. That the end result was exactly what I wanted.
Yeah.
Wow. So what? So can you tell us? Going back to PIERA now. I like your hair, by the way, Pierre. It's all straight and nicely. That I can't get mine straight. Mine's just straight.
I did it for you.
Great.
I lost your audio for a second there. Oh, there we are.
Are we back?
Yeah, we're back.
Okay, cool. Sorry about that. I wanted to see if you could tell us maybe about your biggest failure and what you guys learned from it. We can start with PIERA, and then we could go to Micah.
In life in general,
it can be. I believe life is connected, so everything is affecting everything. So just something that sure, we can make it specific as far as a music failure that you go, wow, what made me do that, and then you were able to learn from that because you're here now, and you're here. You've arrived.
That's a good question, because I feel like life has been challenging, but music hasn't been the area of difficulty. I think that, but I will say in life that there are lessons that you have in different stages, and they impact you later on. Right. And when I was young, I'm going to refer to a non-music example, but I was a gymnast, and I was being trained for the Junior Olympics. I was like 7-8 years old. I was very competitive. It was when my family lived in the Midwest, and I had a big meet, and I was scoring really high scores on all my, I can't even remember what they're called now, but the different areas.
Exhibitions and
floor and vault and the uneven bars. And then I came to my balance beam routine, and I left an entire part out of it and didn't even realize it, out of my routine. And then when it was over, I got a low score and I didn't understand, and I just freaked out, cried my eyes out, and I didn't want to compete anymore. It was an experience that kind of was traumatic for me because I was so used to winning and, you know, getting high scores. And then here I got a really low score. It was like a 3 or something. And I was not a 3, it's probably like a 6, but whatever it was like, you know, it was devastating as an 8-year-old. And it made me feel really bad and not want to continue. And I think that I've learned never to let a bad experience, you have to get back up and keep going, you know. I think that everybody that is great has moments where they make mistakes or they fail or they're not great. And growth, you know, you don't grow without making mistakes. It's impossible. We're human beings. It's impossible. So, you know, whether it's in music, it could be, you know, a bad outfit choice or a, you know, wrong song order or, you know, I don't know, a bad note. It could be something, you know, not going right on stage, and you just have to push through it and, you know, keep going, because in the end, the big result is, you know, that you're getting better and better and you're bringing pleasure to people. It's not just, you know, not to dissect things to the smallest inkling and go, oh, that one little thing wasn't right, so forget it all. No way. You know, go for what you want and have fun and accept your humanity. So that I think that's very
have fun and accept your humanity. That is, I like that one. I really do. What about you, Michael? Because when I asked it, you went, oh, I saw a light bulb go off in Michael's head.
Yeah, I think I switched the game. I was headlining, you know, in the punk scene, and I think once I started headlining and doing really well, I think I too quickly switched the game on my audience, you know, to try to do new material that wasn't the same kind of linear thing that they wanted. You know what I mean? I mean, you know how punk is. It's like you start up at 170 beats per minute, and, you know, and then like 45 minutes, you know, it stops. You know.
Right.
And, you know, after doing that for a long time, I was kind of getting a little bit bored, to be honest with you. I wanted to throw things in there. And I think I threw things in there too fast, and I thought that cost me, you know, some fan base. So I learned that if I'm going to make a change, I gotta I've got to strategize it a little better. You know, I can't just like balance it right hard. That's the one thing that I think I wish I would have been slower, and I wish I would have had more of a slower kind of slide to a change than a abrupt, you know, kind of a thing.
Yeah, it sounds like your fan base got used to a certain baseline, if you will, for lack of a better term. And then you got experimental because you know you're an always growing artist, and you go, let me put a little paprika on that. Let me put some salt. Let me actually put some sugar to bring and then the fan base sort of felt like you were abandoning them. So you had to get back to core sort of principles that you knew. And so I think the lesson there is don't deviate too far from your baseline. Stay kind of closer to home and be patient with that process. It sounds
that's what I came to. I think I was too quick to throw too much. You know what I mean? Whereas I should have just sort of like little eye drops, you know.
Absolutely.
And then, I mean, I could name others, but you know that's the one that I felt I learned a lot from. You know.
Yeah, I like to ask these types of questions so that when the people watching it, they can come back and get real value. Right? They go, this is not just a regular interview. These guys are giving me things that, okay, that makes sense on the journey of being an artist. You guys are on a fantastic journey, and it's just really cool to be able to talk to you and give our
audience expect a certain thing, and you know if you don't give it to them, it's disappointing. You know, and you gotta manage that if you're gonna go through a style change of some sort, or even a slight style change. But we're very excited about our future singles in 2022. We've got new songs coming out.
Unraveling was an older record, I believe. I think that one came out about 11 months ago.
Well, now we're starting our new stuff, and we should have it in the first quarter, and I'm very excited about it. It's very focused. It's very exciting, and
yeah, we're revealing one of our new songs at the show tomorrow, actually, A Flock of Seagulls. And I think it's just kind of, as an artist, you continue to create. You finish one project and you're playing out and having a good time. And then in rehearsal, we've been writing some new stuff. And then in the studio, we've been writing some new stuff. And it's sort of always kind of simultaneously happening. So I think one of the gifts of the pandemic of the last year was that we had more time in the studio. So it's now that things are coming back, and it's fun because we're going to be ready for a fun next year.
Yeah, I'm really excited about this new music.
Really?
Yes, because I think that was our first record. You know what I mean? And
big thing. It's a big deal, man.
And so I think we've learned from we've just grown. And I can see that growth in this new music, and I'm very excited to release it, and perform it,
Yeah.
That brings me up to another question. I can't even remember if I asked this, but I'll go ahead and ask it again. What artists are you guys listening to right now? What kind of music are out there? Are you guys listening to these days?
I'm so eclectic,
wow. I need to have it. I need to hear it.
I mean, one of the albums on my playlist has been very ambient. It's an artist called Omni Gardens. It's there's no lyrics. It's just music, but it's absolutely amazing. It's very meditative. And then on the other hand, I've been listening to, like Jefferson Airplane and a little bit of jazz. I love some old jazz, whether it's Chet Baker or Getz and Gilberto, which is Brazilian. I don't know. I think last year I was really listening to more like heavier music. I was listening to a duo called Boy Harsher. They're very industrial and cool.
Did you say that name again?
Boy Harsher.
Boy, okay.
But, I always kind of go back to my old favorites. It's so funny,
Me too.
Just go back to what you love. What about you, Micah?
Oh, man. I mean, I listen to Robert Johnson. I think when I listen to music, I listen to a lot of music that I'm not doing, and I'm also listening to music I feel is, I mean, it's a funny thing.
I agree with that. Yeah.
I'm always listening to people who I think are like better than me. I want to listen.
Yeah. That is.
People that I can learn from. Like if I listen to Jean-Michel Jarre or something like that,
or Tangerine Dream,
or people that really do things in a different way and try to learn. And learn from some things. I never. The funny thing is that I have the inability to copy anybody because I can never remember anything. You know what I mean?
But that's a good thing.
Which is a good thing.
That's a good thing.
Yeah. I never like straight, go for it. But I get the vibe. You know what I'm saying? Like, for example, if somebody, it can be anything. It could be where somebody puts the swing on something in a different way than I thought, or does the snare roll different. But it gets very micro with me because I'm stuff like that. But but it's also on a grander scale. If I were to listen to say Brian Eno or something like that, or Aphex Twin, and see how wow, that's really like, where did they get that? You know what I'm saying? I need to listen to music where I have to be kind of seduced and feel like it's a mystery how it's happening. You know what I mean?
I love that.
Otherwise, I could just decode it and know exactly and predict it 5 seconds before it.
Yeah, if I could reverse engineer it and see the template, I'm gonna be also prone to scroll.
Yeah.
And plus, like, music is like a mood, so like depending on what mood you're in, you want to listen to different things at different times. It's like That's
Man.
something that I find, there's that moment where you're all nostalgic, you want to listen to old stuff, and then there's time where you're like totally like experimental avant-garde, or you're like in a party mode.
Yeah,
I was just thinking about how, like, I don't know if you use Spotify, but I listen to Spotify as like my main audio player, and it gives you your year in review. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I saw that.
These are the genres, it's like these are the artists. And it was like last year I listened to a lot of craft work, and I didn't even realize it. I'm like, they're one of my favorites, but it's so interesting,
And I listened to Suicide. I don't know if you remember that band from the 70s. I like a lot of 70s and 60s psychedelic electronic music, like raffles and stuff like that. So I'm really, really all over the place,
Me too.
I listen to a lot of R&B. I mean, because R&B, when I was working as an R&B producer, it was very experimental. I mean, people were throwing every sound they could find, in around 2000. It was a very exciting time,
Yeah.
And I think I learned a lot about electronic music that I'm doing now, just from the way that the people that I worked for then were very open to sound design in a way. They didn't use those words, but they were just very open to sound possibilities that weren't just typical.
See, I look at my my playlist, and there's Sepultura on there. There's NXX Kick. There's a ton of rap, of course. There's all these different genres, PM Dawn, all these different kind of music, and I don't know what the next genre. There's from Imogen Heap. There's all these different types of things that. Oh, really? Okay, great. Even to Red Hot Chili Peppers, Erykah Badu, the extreme sound options that we have we should fully immerse ourselves in these things, because I believe, as an artist, wondering is like the super machine, the super engine of creativity. Just wondering how they got there.
Yes.
You listen to a Kanye album, I wonder what he was going through specifically. Okay, I might not be able to get that mood, but just that question pulls me in a different direction. And it's that type of pulling.
Yeah, that's what I'm looking for.
Right.
I'm looking for stuff I can't figure out.
Yeah. So as we find ourselves bringing this interview to winding down, I do have some requests. I'm going to talk to my PR about getting to that Flock of Seagulls concert. I want to do that. I'd love to pop up.
Please.
You'll put me on the list?
I'll put you on the list. Come.
Okay, you shouldn't have told me that, because I'm going to come now.
Yeah,
it's going to be a great event.
I'd love to have you.
So as that's happening, one thing I'd like to ask you guys, I really have a lot of questions, and it seems like I'm going to probably have you guys back on, because I want to update on you guys and things like that. But if there was a resource that you guys can't live without right now, as far as musicians, like, wow, this thing that I have that, as far as helping me, I don't know if it's a booking agent, if it's a PR, if it's, could you give us something for our audience to say, you know what, if I would have known this thing earlier, wow, it could have supercharged everything?
Well, I think I think you need a team.
Yeah.
If we're talking, there's two things. There's music, and then there's music business, right? And I think people sometimes get things confused and disappointed because they don't realize that well, maybe music business has the same value system as if you're creating music, you know what I mean? And so, all the elements that you need to get exposure, through publicists, and through distribution and promotion, and that could be through a label, that could, you need a manager because there's so much going on that you can't handle it all by yourself. So, I would say team building on all fronts to service the record, just to if I want to just go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, you got your PR person, you've got your distribution, you've got your people putting on the tours, you've got your label,
I'm gonna say though that's all true, right? But I think fundamentally you have to have people who have genuine love for what you do.
True believers, we call them.
We call them true believers because, you know, there's a business, there's a structure, but there's also, you know, just a lot of hustle out there. And I think you need heart. I think you need people who are true believers because they will be the ones to share music with their friends. They will be the ones to, I don't know, just
evangelize, like,
grow the community. And I think, you know, everybody is, you know, yes, music is a business, but really it's a community. I mean, I think that's, you know, you're just trying to get your message out or your sound out or your vibe out and find your people. So I think there's nothing more valuable than having true believers.
Yeah, true believers is what it's all about, you know. And I mean, and on the technical side of things, I mean, it's really just a lot of the fundamentals of any business. You know, if you're putting out something, you know, you need exposure, you need, you know, all the things that go into another business, and that's why it's a music business. Now, you know, somebody like me has a lot of, you know, you know, conflicts with some of the things that people, because I work for, you know, a lot of people in the executive realm of labels and stuff like that, and you know, they're not very artistic. You know what I'm saying? They're you know, it's a business.
It's a business.
And they're not necessarily very artistic. I mean, they're not artistic, but you know, it's kind of like, it's a business. That's all I can say, you know.
Was it tough for you guys getting a booking agent? Like, how tough was that? Like, is there like
we
some
don't
sort
have
of
a booking agent?
You're kidding. You're kidding me. Oh my God, that's a
No.
secret we need to know. So hold on before we get out of here.
We don't have. I
Audience,
mean, we don't have formal management. We don't have a booking agent. We don't have a label. We are really DIY. And Micah has put, you know, we have a wonderful PR person that's been helping us promote the events that we've been doing this year and you know, connecting us with amazing people. But really, we're like, it's so DIY. It's crazy.
Oh, I love it. I love it.
We're self-produced. I mean, it's kind of, you know,
you're looking at the label right now.
Yeah, this is the label right here.
Nice. This is what I love that. I love that. You know, this is a exciting time in DIY.
Now's the time.
Right. So people, did you hear that? You don't need a booking agent. I even felt relieved when I heard that for some of the people that might be hearing this. Because
I wouldn't say you don't need a booking agent. It would be very good to have a booking agent. You know, I mean,
it's work. It's a job. I mean, it's a lot of work.
You don't need it. You don't need it if you're gonna like really put in the kind of work a booking agent does. But it's, you know, it's good to have as much support as you can. There's no question about it.
Right. I appreciate that because it's the tools that, because I know people are going to watch this and rewind it. That's what I want them to do. I want them to spend time, sort of take notes on, listen, I want us to get into the applied sciences wing of music as opposed to you can make it and the vague terminology that still leaves a lot on the, you know. And so you guys being specific with what is helping is just a tremendous jewel. And I guess the last question, I know I have all these questions and my mind's going crazy, but this is a little bit outside of the box a little bit, but it pertains to giving value. Right before you're about to perform, you know, 20 minutes out, 15 minutes, 10 minutes getting into it, is there any routines that you guys go into to stop that madness, that you know, that crunch, you know, that you go, I'm a half hour out from going on, then it turns into 15 minutes, and then the butterflies and all type of stuff start, you know, kicking in. You know, I know that's the case with me and a lot of people that I know. I've had conversations like where we've taken off our cool guy images and be like, man, what do you do about the anxiety? What do you do? Man, I don't know. You know, so I'm just wondering, is there anything that you guys do?
I've been, you know, I've had a lot of experience. So once I after sound check and I feel the sounds, you know, they got it right, I'm pretty relaxed after that. I'm pretty uptight to the, you know, up to this, not uptight, but, you know, I'm kind of nervous more about.
It's the most important thing in a show, I think, you know, that's not in your control is the guy running the sound.
Is the guy running the
how
sound.
The stage is and everything like that.
But
once that's golden.
Or once that's done, then it's like, you know, you just do your thing.
But I
So-
have been seen to be doing weird stretches in the back. I don't know, like I don't know. I just start doing my like weird, semi.
There's nothing going on. I'm fine. I'm all right.
PIERA style Tai Chi.
I'm not trying to say I'm invulnerable to being, to anxiety. I mean, that's not.
I just
that's
try
not
to
true.
limber up, like I'm
But-
getting ready to hit the.
But
the
I do know when I hit the stage and I hit the first song that all feels like, joy at that point,
I used to, there was this, shout out Santa Rosa, California, Sonoma County, my true home. They used to have this little restaurant where you used to go a couple miles away from Santa Rosa in this town called Sebastopol. And you used to be able to go to this bar and you used to be able to get on the stage with the band and just do whatever you wanted. And it was so cool. And so what I used to notice was I used to take that challenge. I used to go drive out 10 miles once a week and get on that stage and just, my challenge was no lyrics. You can't remember your lyrics. You got to go there and be fully improv. And as I kept doing that, I kept freaking myself out because usually I'm more prepared. I know my songs, I know my music, I know what I want to convey. But these times I have no idea where it's going because I don't know what beat it's going to be. I don't know what the house band's going to be playing. And I don't know what mood I'm going to be in that's going to be affecting these words that are coming out. So I started having
freestyle. Wow.
I started having these like anxiety bouts, and then I had to get in there and do some meditation, which is why I asked this question, because what my technique was I had a calming technique to tell myself, you're not nervous. Your body is telling you that you're prepared. And when that sort of kicked in, I was able to relax and have more understanding about my own physiology, which then tells me, oh, okay, I'm misdiagnosing myself in this moment because I don't have those credentials. I'm going into anxiety. It's nothing more than my body telling me that I'm prepared to go do what I'm born to do.
Well, plus, a lot of it's true. A lot of it, is adrenaline too.
Yeah.
You're excited, and it's like, here it is, and so, yeah, it's adrenaline mixed with anxiety at times,
Mixed with excitement.
And mixed with excitement. Yeah. So it's a very heightened state.
You're very charged, right?
Yeah.
It's like you're plugged in.
Yeah, you're ready to go out and rage, basically. So, you're definitely in that mode.
Wow. So we got PIERA the music group with Micah in the background doing his thing, the technical expertise. We've got a beautiful interview that just happened with, we know these people. We understand their energy. Now I want to end this with talking about your product. We know you have a show coming up tomorrow. What time is that show tomorrow in Los Angeles, California?
7 p.m. Agora Hills at the Canyon with a flock of
Agora
seagulls.
Hill. Okay. What was that last part? The last part of
With a flock of seagulls.
With a flock of seagulls.
And if you want to learn more, you can go to our website, which is PIERAmusic.net. So
PIERAmusic.net, 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 PIERAmusic.net. Okay. We got to get that out there because people need to know so that you can grow. Raveling is a big song that I want everybody to go check out. It's an experience. It's not even really a song. You sit there, you allow it to happen to you. Albums. Tell us about what's got you guys excited as we find ourselves bringing our first interview of many to come to a close.
Yeah, we're excited. I mean, I think 2022 is going to be a great year. I think there's a lot of creativity brewing, and we've got some songs that are getting ready to be released. So I think that, it's just going to be mo better. I'm really, I mean, it sounds funny, but I think it's like, this is a journey. This is a journey. And I feel like every day we're becoming like, we're growing and we're getting more excited and having new ideas and inspirations are percolating. And so I think you're just going to hear a little bit more of what we've got under the hood.
Okay. So I go to Spotify, I type in what to get access to PIERA.net music.
If you go to Spotify, PIERA, PIERA in all caps, okay. And you'll see the record. And then, the website is our portal for everything, all our socials and everything, and shows coming up. And that's, again, is PIERAmusic.net.
PIERAmusic.net. Next time they'll be up here, I'll learn how to work the banners and have all that going. You guys, what a tremendous joy. I'm going to be seeing what I can do to get over to that concert tomorrow. I want to check it out, take some pictures, let people think I'm cool because I know PIERA and things like that, man. It's been a great conversation with you guys.
Yeah, it really was.
I
really
so
had
much
a great time
for coming on the program.
Yeah.
All right, guys. See you guys tomorrow, man. See you guys tomorrow for sure.
Okay, see you.
All right, I'm going to go ahead and end this live. Thank you, guys. Much love.